Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of SW Elite. We are super excited to have you with us. And if you're joining from Spotify or on YouTube, we're happy to have you here. And today's topic we are super excited to talk about, which is going to be intention. But before we jump into our intention portion of this, we're going to actually do a follow-up of our last podcast, which was about sacrifice. The challenge that we gave you was think of something that you can sacrifice for the year of 2026. What ideas did you come up with? Did you have certain promptings or feelings or things that were like, yeah, I could probably sacrifice that? And as we go through today, talking about intention, think about the thing that you thought about and think about how you can be more intentional about sacrificing that or those items. But um, think about it and then think about how it ties into this podcast about intention. So, intention, what is it and how do we live with it?
Yeah, we're excited to talk about this topic today because it really, as Shalise and I have talked, this really is what everything boils down to. If we don't have pure intention, we're really going to struggle in life. And I know for me, that's been something I focused on this last year of being intentional in my goals, but also in my ambitions in life. So, let's kind of talk about what the definition of intention really is. So, intention is about a purposeful action. As you can kind of see on the screen, we put this definition up there so you could take a picture if you're watching. If not, you can listen and write this down later. But intention's more about just purpose, is not just having an idea, it's actually doing something about it. It's deciding ahead of time who you want to be and how you want to show up, no matter what happens around you. Too many people in our society today really just wait for people around them to make decisions, or they just kind of go with the flow, is what you could kind of say. And we lack that intention. And I have found over the years as I coach athletes or even am around people with business and work, you pick up really quick on if people are intentional in life or not, whether they're somebody that leads and they have a vision or just in their demeanor, or they somebody that just follows everybody and kind of goes with the flow. And really, this was what separates us, and it really makes a big difference in life. So how can we look at these? Motivation is based on feelings. Some days you're fired up, ready to train. Other days you're tired, fatigued, not feeling much like you want to do things. But intention's deeper, and this actually helps us to stay motivated and to keep getting up, to keep training, keep doing what we want to do. And so it's a decision you make to stay aligned with your purpose, even when your feelings or your circumstances change. For example, like this past week, I'm still trying to get over this cold and sickness. And there's days I could have just stayed in bed and like given up on everything else. But I remember my deeper intention. And so, I still rested, took care of myself, but I also made myself do things to move forward with goals and things I know I need to get done. And I think for me, and Shalise could probably attest to this, but as we work with athletes, a lot of times one of the first things we'll ask is, what is your bigger goal? Where do you want to go? And we've talked about this from the beginning, but if you don't have that bigger vision of where you want to go and what you want to do, then what's the point? You're just going to be going through the motions and really setting yourself up to struggle and lack that ability to stay motivated and to have that true intention in what you're doing.
Another thing that I think about when I think about intention is the word why. What is your why? And your why can be your intention, like the intention to like your goals. And like what said, it starts with that first little meeting that we have was like, what's the big picture? And like, yes, you're going to have motivation along the way, but you have to remember like things aren't going to be handed to you and you're going to have to work for it. And so many of us just want things handed to us. We want mom and dad to do it. We want our teammates to do it. We want our teachers to do it for us. But if we're not willing to put in the work when it's hard, we're not going to put in the work when it's easy. And we have to be willing to sacrifice our time, effort, and energy to become elite, to become the people we want to be, and to do that with intention and purpose. And we have to realize that things are going to happen all around us. Kind of like what it says. It's like we have to show up no matter what is happening around us. Control what we can control. And sometimes that's really hard to do because we're too worried about trying to control other people when we can't even control our own thoughts and emotions. And so, if we can learn to control our thoughts and emotions, our intentions will be more clear, and everybody's opinions about everything else can kind of be more silent in our mind. And so, how does that look like as an athlete? So, think about like you're shooting a free throw. You step up to the line, and there's like 2 seconds left in the fourth quarter and you're down by 1 point. You need this. And so when you step up to the line, your mind is probably like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna freak out." Like, "Don't miss," right? "Don't miss, don't miss, don't miss." But you can calm your brain. How many times have you shot a free throw? Are you willing to take that extra second and take a deep breath and close your eyes and just focus on everything? Focus on your breath. Focus on your form. Clear out the noise. And so, what you can do is visualize your free throw before you even shoot it. You have 15 seconds to shoot a free throw. I think it's 15 seconds. 10 to 15 seconds. You can close your eyes, go through your motion, dribble, dribble, spin, triple threat, shot, and then you do it. Your intention is set to make your free throw. Take a breath, and what's going to happen? Dribble, dribble, spin, triple threat, up, swish. And then you can celebrate and explode and have all that amazing stuff. But you have to remember that it takes work. And our previous podcast that we've covered about of positive self-talk, gratitude, being humble and coachable, it all comes into your training. It comes down to how you compete and how you're going to handle those pressure situations. And that's because of your intent to be present and your intent to be good.
Yeah, I love that. We'll kind of wrap back around to a real story later on with that. Really, what Shalice just shared, but it's powerful when you have something bigger than just the moment. Because if you're not prepared and you're not focused on the bigger purpose or the bigger intent, you are more likely to fail and struggle. And we don't want that for you. We want you to be successful on and off the court. So as we kind of talk about intention a little bit more, we're going to kind of talk about how you face that today in your world. If you think about it, you're bombarded. Like, let's be real. Basketball is a growing sport and it's become very competitive and it's something that you have to push yourself to do really well in. And when you play at a higher level, there comes with more pressure. Pressure that you might feel from yourself of like, I have to perform, I have to do well. It also probably comes from parents and your friends. Like, you don't want to disappoint them, your teammates, you don't want to fail or let them down. And honestly, the higher level you compete, the more pressure. So whether it's high school and then college, there is a higher level because more people watch. You are more in the limelight, you could say. And a lot of times people struggle when the limelight comes. It's funny, I feel like a lot of people want it deep down, but when the moment actually comes, it's like, bah, I don't like this. I don't like the feelings. I don't want the pressure. But you have to remember it comes together. It's a package deal. You can't like have that experience and play at that level without more pressure, more people being aware of you and watching you. And it's really crucial that you're in the right mindset, which is really where today goes is your mindset and your mental ability. So some of these things you might feel, we'll kind of delve in these a little bit more, but peer pressure or comparison because of social media. I mean, you guys can film your videos, your games, your highlights, your reels, and share them anywhere and anybody can see them. And so, in the world we live in, when people don't have something nice to say, sometimes they take it out on other people. And so you might get comments or things back at you that way. Your burnout with your schedules being so busy, some of you have really high, hard classes that you're taking, whether those are honors classes or AP classes, maybe even some college credits in high school. And so that can lead to burnout. And then you throw in family time and a job and trying to eat healthy and sleep and recover, and it just wears you down. It's a lot on your plate. And then struggles with balancing everything you need to, especially if you're involved in like your faith or religious things and you have a big family and you've got siblings and things that you need to take care of. The other thing is just like and we'll talk more about this next week, but your tie with your identity. Too many of us tie our identity to how we perform and where results come. How do we look? What is somebody else thinking of me? And it's a human nature and natural thing to do that because we all have to face that. And we all have to go through that to figure out how we're going to handle it and get to the point where that doesn't impact us quite like it used to. So maybe you feel like you're running circles. You're working harder and harder, but losing sight of why you started. Or why is everything I'm doing not working right away? I've put in all these hours, I've worked, and now I have this injury. So we want you to think about, we're going to talk about an athlete. Her name is Sarah. She is a young athlete who is incredibly talented and was being recruited by a lot of colleges. And she was really starting to feel anxious, even like angry at times when she stepped on the court, just from the pressure of all that. Cause it's like, I have to have these stats, I have to perform this way. Everybody's watching, everybody's seeing me. And when she sat down to talk, she realized she's been chasing approval. So, like getting that college or scholarship, getting the accolades that come on social media, because she cared more about her results than actually who she was and who she was becoming. And so when that happened, she was paying more attention to the glory coming from outside sources instead of that glory or that peace that comes internally. And I think that's why Shalise and I are so passionate about this topic, is because intent needs to come from within. If you want to be happy, you want to be peaceful, you want to be successful, that has to come from within, not from without.
Yeah, and I think a lot of you are probably like, what does that mean from like within? How do I do within? And that comes from a lot of self-work. Um, with like visualization. And last week we talked about like our personal relationship with the higher being. And without relationship, and I know Wit can speak to this, we would not, if we didn't have a relationship with the higher being, we probably wouldn't have as good as intentions as we would want. And we wouldn't have like a sense of direction. We'd be seeking for the approval of others instead of approval from like that gives us that not really self gratification, but those feelings of like peace and comfort. And like we talked about last week about grace. And I think as we learn more about grace, the more we're willing to look inward instead of outward and get that approval from a higher being. A lot of you are probably like, okay, well, how do I start to have um good intentions? Like, what can I do? And so there's steps that we have that can help set your intentions, that will help you become more elite on and off the court. And so the first one is pray for guidance. And so a lot of you may not say prayers or may not be spiritual at all, or maybe just on a spiritual journey trying to figure out who you are and what your relationship is with a higher being. If you are scared to pray, but you have teammates that pray or have friends that pray, ask to join them. If they give you the opportunity, respect that and join them, because maybe you can receive like a little good feeling inside of you that kind of gives you a little bit of guidance. But for those of you who do have a relationship with a higher being, pray for guidance, ask for help, ask for grace, ask for strength to help you along your journey. But as you pray for guidance, um, you'll kind of have a better pathway to know um, how to better reach your goals, to reach that college level, or to do all the other big and exciting things that you all have planned. And as you pray for guidance, it kind of ties into step 2, which is defining your why. As you pray for guidance, it helps you understand your why and why you're doing all these things. Why you decide to play sports, and why you decide to surround yourself with certain people, why you're taking the classes that you're taking, and a whole bunch of things. But as you pray, it helps you understand your why.
So, number three or step three would be really setting spiritual or goal to spiritually grow as well as athletic goals. So a spiritual goal could be something simple like I'm going to pray before games with my teammates, or I'm going to say a personal prayer on my own. For me, I personally have found studying spiritual material, whatever that looks like for you, has truly made a difference because it gets me in a mindset of stop thinking about myself. I found when I don't do that, I'm more selfish and my days really just don't go as well. But when I get up and I sacrifice that 15, 30 minutes in the morning to focus on those types of words and they encourage me to think about other people, it makes all the difference. So it could be something as simple as that. And, spiritual could even be time to meditate or to just ponder. You don't have to do anything grand or big, but do you put your phone away And do you get off social media, or are you constantly having to look for that? I think it's funny if you walk into a room um, with people, how many of them are on their phone? I actually had this experience a couple weeks ago, and I won't share all the details, but we were talking with somebody in a spiritual setting, and they said, in this setting, do you see why we don't have phones? Oh, when's the last time you walked into a room with 10 to 15 people or more and nobody has a phone? And I don't know why, but that phrase really hit me of, I don't know, like, even in my own house, my phone's usually by me or close by so I can grab it if I need it. But why we're missing out on these opportunities to connect with people, and because we're trying to connect online. And sometimes when we put that away, it can bring some inner peace. It can be weird at first, but it can really help you. And then for your athletic goals, we've talked about many of these in the past, but how could you improve your free throw shooting by 10%? Or how could you have 5 assists instead of 1 assist a game? How could you, improve your recovery so you're not being injured or as slow because you are so tight with your muscles and you feel fatigued and worn out? So there's a lot of things you can do, but I have found when you do goals in both of these areas, you really can improve and become more successful. Step 4, visualize your success. I think this goes tying into that pondering or meditating. Like, do you take time to really calm down, focus in, and really close your eyes and just think about, okay, tomorrow I'm playing this team. I know this about them. I've watched film about this. I see that they do this and this. What do I need to do to be prepared for that? Right? You can't control your teammates, but how you prepare and how you show up makes all the difference. And so as you take that time to fill kind of those situations or scenarios or run them through your head, and then think about, okay, I'm going to make these kinds of passes. I know our coach had said we're going to work on these offenses and defenses. I'm going to talk. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to anticipate and get those stills in this position on defense. And that really will help you just feel more confident to go into those matches or games or whatever you do because you've already put the work in for it.
And one thing that you can do as well, because sometimes a lot of you may just feel weird sitting and closing your eyes for visualization. One thing that I've started to do with a couple of people I'm working with is having them write it down. Get like a brand new notebook and write down your 5 senses. So, what do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What can you taste? What can you touch or feel? And you can kind of go through those things and just be like, okay, like tomorrow we play this team. I feel excited, I feel nervous, I feel, like, all the things that you feel before a game day. I taste this, like, I just taste the saliva in my mouth, or I just had a piece of watermelon, or whatever it is, right? But as you're writing it down, your brain can connect to it and see it. And we talked about, like, the brain-heart connection, but, like, our brains and our hearts are connected, and so what it can do is, like, you see it, and your brain already registers, "Oh, I already did that somewhere." And so when you get out on the court, your brain's like, "Oh, I already made that free throw.
Mhm.
Oh, I already made that layup. I already made that pass. I already set that down screen and popped out for a corner three," or whatever it may be. As you visualize it and your brain sees it, and as you believe in it, and you feel all the feels, taste, smell, hear, see, all of it, your brain's like, "Oh, I already did this." And it's beautiful. And I think a lot of us have to really just take that time. Put the dang phone away. You cannot use your phone to write it down. It has to be an actual paper and pen, and just write it down, and then you can be like, and then you can go back and look at it like the next day when you're doing your visualization, be like, "Oh my gosh, this actually happened." Or when you're watching game film, but it makes your brain happy. You get all those chemical releases that we talked about, and it's exciting. And that kind of leads into step 5, which is building your daily habits. And as you make visualization, I would say it needs to be a daily habit. And it doesn't just have to be about sports, it can be like taking a test, driving somewhere. Or like if it's a Sunday and you go to church, like visualize yourself at church. Who are you gonna sit by? Where are you gonna park? What are you gonna wear? How are you gonna do your hair? Or whatever that is. But it's like as you build those daily habits, it leads into greater successes. And there's this book called Atomic Habits, and they talk about habit stacking. And coming in this new year, we're actually going to roll out a challenge that has to deal with the book Atomic Habits. So please stay tuned. But building your daily habits, it could be Just keep them simple. A lot of things we think, "Oh, I have to build this new habit." No, you already have habits you don't even think about, like washing your hands after you're going to the bathroom, brushing your teeth, making your bed, putting on your underwear before you put on pants. Like, there's just, like, a bunch of, like, daily habits that you do. But, I love this quote by Tim Tebow, and he says, "I don't know what my future holds, but I know who holds my future." I think as you, apply these 5 steps every day, or at least try. Remember, we're not going for perfection, we're going for progress. And as we try to progress each and every single day by praying for guidance, understanding our why, having those goals set and seeing our vision boards and being like, "That's what I want today." And then we're visualizing, and then we're like, "Look, it's a habit now." Like, I know I always put my socks on before I put my shoes on. Like, it's like you don't think about it. It becomes second nature. But we know that as you take these steps and um, progress every single day, your intentions will be stronger, your purpose will be stronger, your why will be stronger, and you'll start seeing those goals and you'll be like, check, what's next? What's next, right? You're ready for the next challenge. We want to reach those goals and we want to be pushed, but we have to make sure we are looking for the right glory and glorying in other people's glory and being excited for our wins and also being excited if we fail. Failure sucks, but failure teaches us to set our intentions deeper and become stronger with our why.
Yeah, I love these steps, and I love when people are willing to, like, try them. I think so many of us just put up the wall and are like, "Nah, I don't need to do that. I'm too busy. I don't have time." Well, you just made excuses. You gave 3 of them. I'm guilty of that too. Definitely have done that. But I love it when people will be willing and teachable, and then they try this. I've seen it with athletes, I've seen it in people in work, and the cool thing is when they are willing to just make those simple changes and stick with it, it really shows results pretty quick. I think people think it takes a really, really long time, and some will if you have big goals and aspirations, but some of these little things can make a big difference with just a week or 2 of consistency and trying them. And I don't know, like I've seen even in the last couple weeks, athletes who finally bought into self-positive talk, and I have been trying to encourage some of them for weeks to do that. And just a couple simple things, and a girl went from, having no points to 3 points to like having a high scoring game of 18 points and then a next game with 10 to 12. And it's something simple like that. It's growing in becoming who you are meant to become is what we really care about. So we're going to give a couple examples that build on what Shalice just shared of how you could apply this more in your daily life. So she mentioned journaling and writing things down. Do the 5 senses. Take the time to, how do I feel, see, touch, taste, all of these things. What is that like? And it also reminds you how blessed you are to have those senses because there are many people that don't. A couple other cool journal entries could be, how did I honor God or my higher power with my efforts today? What did you do to make the world a better place? Was it all about you, or did you focus on helping somebody else and serving somebody else? Where did my fear or ego creep into my game and my life today? It's really interesting when you focus on those things. It makes you realize, where is this coming from? And then you can actually address the root of it instead of just keep trying to push it away. Accountability. Who are you being accountable to? I personally, like I've, lived on my own for a long time. And so part of my accountability has been to God or a higher power because I'm not married and I don't have a spouse or, somebody else like that. But other people who are mentors to me, do I check in? Do I follow through with my accountability? Am I accountable to my coaches and my teammates, to my teachers? Own it. Like, I think too many of us just kind of play the BS game of like, I can do the minimal effort and slide by with this. Well, why not try to do better? Why not try to succeed and use those teachers? I bet if you asked for help, most of them would be willing to help you. It's just on how you approach it with them. And then maybe it's going to be some things for pre games or pre practice. Do you take time to, put that phone away like we've mentioned a few times today, or to get your homework done? So you don't have to keep worrying about that. Like, get it done. And then you have time to focus on other things that will be more fun and enjoyable. Do you take time to read, to say your prayers, to meditate, to make somebody else's day by giving a compliment or something like that? So as you do these simple steps and you focus on your intent, why be a good human? Well, I'll tell you your life will be a lot better and happier. And this is what the whole intent focus is to help you become a better person on and off the court. And it starts with your intentions. But if you just want to go through life like without a care in the world, you're welcome to do that. But I really feel like you will struggle finding that true joy and that peace and happiness that we all really want in life.
Maybe we just need to take a moment and be like, where does your true joy come from? Maybe that's the journal prompts that you write, like, where does my joy come from? And when we talked about our confidence podcast, we asked you 6 questions. And one of them is, where do I seek validation? And is it healthy? And I think and there's 5 other questions, but I challenge you to go back and really answer those questions truthfully, because your intentions will also lead into your confidence. And your confidence is super important too, because it's how we carry ourselves. It's how we go throughout our day. Are we just all fed up in our ego, or are we willing to get out of ourselves and serve and help others? And like I said, the more you help, the more you receive. And that has to go with intent as well. Like, if our intentions are good, the people that we surround ourselves, you'll start to realize a pattern. If your intentions are good, you'll want to be around people who are good, who have good intentions, who are trying to reach their goals and become more than themselves. Or if you're surrounding yourselves with people who just don't give a crap and are just kind of go with the flow people, like, what's your purpose? Like, I'm just here to have a good time, hopefully not get in trouble type people. I mean, yeah, that's fun. And at certain times, yeah, we can go with the flow and not care. But caring for other people, having good intentions, carrying ourselves with confidence, and knowing that there is a higher power that we can be accountable to if we allow that in our life, it gives us that, like, good, peaceful feelings of joy and all that good stuff. Um, but let's think about it, like, we're gonna kinda wrap this up with this, um, and pay attention. It's your worth isn't on the scoreboard, and I think a lot of us get our worth from our performance, and in our next podcast, we're gonna talk about that a little bit more, but it's not. Your worth isn't on the scoreboard. Remember, you were loved, you were chosen, and you're equipped by a higher power to become your best self, to have the things that you want to have a real purpose and have that drive and have that grace given to you, and be enabled to become your elite self on and off the court. And as we set our intentions and our good, worthy intentions, we'll come to realize that, like, my worth is more than the scoreboard. My worth comes from other things around me. And it takes work. It's hard. Life is hard. It's supposed to be hard, but it's the lessons that we learn along the way that help us become those elite people. It helps us set our intentions higher, and as we reach higher, more people are going to be put into your life, because good people help good people. And you'll be surprised as you open your heart and open your mind and get outside of your bubble and ask for help. People will help you. They'll help you set, if you need help, people can help you set good intentions. And the thing that just keeps on coming to my mind is, like, just because me and Wit can speak to this herself, like, but because we have such a good relationship and a continuing relationship with a higher power, it helps us be intent in our daily actions. And we don't want to push any spiritual things or any religious things on you, but we would love for you to find out for yourself how that relationship with a higher being can impact your life. And that's on you. Take baby steps. And if you want to talk to us about that, we're more than happy to talk about that with you. But we're not going to push it on you. That's something you have to want for yourself. And the more you see it and the people around you that are doing it, you'll realize that they have this, like, they carry themselves different. And it's their intentions and who they're getting their intentions from and where they're drawing their worth from. So I challenge you to think about what you can do today to start building your intentions to become more elite on and off the court.
Yeah, I love that. Just the last phrase I'm going to say because Shalice covered everything I feel, is when you compete in life or on the court with intention, you actually play with more freedom. You get to have more fun. You get to actually experience a level of enjoyment in the sport and in life that most people don't ever get to experience because you get the intent right. And as a coach, I have players and I think they think I'm goofy for this, but one of the things I actually do is I ask my players, how many points are you going to hold the other team to today? How many points are you going to put up? And that sounds maybe crazy, but the whole point is I want them to have a focus and an intention because we could just go play to play, but the whole point is to grow and get better. And as they do that, it almost puts in their brain like, okay, I'm not going to give up that pass. I'm going to get that still. The same's in life as Shalise and I invite you to have these steps. We're helping you to have intention in your life, to find joy in work because we all have to work. I mean, if you're one of those lucky people, one in a million that doesn't have to be lucky you. But majority of us are going to work and have relationships with people and have hard things happen on so many levels. And if we're not having the intention that keeps us focused through all of that, it can get to be really hard and put you in a really bad, deep, dark hole quickly. We don't want that for you. We want you to enjoy life and to make the best of it and live the life the fullest that you're capable of.
Yeah. Amen. Uh, so let's get into our weekly challenge. So this challenge is a little bit different, but we're super excited for it. So a lot of you have heard about people choosing a word of the year or having a word that helps drive them throughout the year. And so that's what we're going to challenge you to do. We are going to challenge you to come up with an intentional word for 2026. Any single word you want it to be, but it has to have some intent behind it. It has to have a reason. You have to have a reason why you chose that word. It has to have a reason behind it. And so here we would like to tell you our word for 2026 at SW Elite. Our word for 2026 at SW Elite is build. You're probably thinking, okay, why build? And so reason being is because here we want to help build elite athletes on and off the court. That comes with skill work, comes with character, mindset, and leadership. But it also ties into the areas of like our social life, our intellectual life, our spiritual life, our emotional life, and our physical. And this is something that we can build on throughout the year of 2026. Build is something that we can work towards, that we can be, that we can become. And we're super excited for 2026 and how this word can evolve and how not only we as individuals can build, but also how SW Elite can build to help you athletes on and off the court to become more elite.
Yeah, I love this. We've been excited to present this and share this because as I've thought about it, everything we do personally and in SWE is to try to build you to be better. And that's a goal. We want to build individuals and teams and our societies to be the best that they can be. So we hope that you'll join us. Take time to really ponder and think about what your intentional word is. Don't just BS it. Put the work into it and have a meaning that's personal to you. So when things get tough and it's hard to focus on that word and your goals built around it, you can stay on it and you can stay on track because if you have the intention, you'll be able to keep that vision. So we appreciate you joining us today and excited to hear some of your words. We want you to share your words, share why you chose that word. Because as you do, you're going to help other people start to have ideas and then they can share and help you in the future with other experiences as well. It's all about that connection. And we hope that you'll share this with your teammates, with your family, your friends. Do this with people around you. Don't do this alone. Grow together. And as you do, we hope that you'll share this, subscribe, post, and join us. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys next week.